one of the best technicians in the realm of talking to the birds and the forests, understanding why water is getting dry, where things need to be fixed, like a computer technician, but for all of nature. Then we have Gun Navimaku, who is who is a young leader and actually the son of Bun Kwanimaku, who is learning about our systems as outsiders and from an artificial world. His main objective is to be learning languages and learning how to showcase the depth of the knowledge and the technical skills they have and how that can be presented. So these four are all leaders, and they're all here representing from the highest words of their tribe.
Un saludo desde el corazón del mundo, que se llama en nuestro idioma Nibiumaki.
A greeting from the heart of the world. In our language it's called Nibiumake.
Nibiumaki quiere decir en nuestros lugares, espacios donde uno nace con esa sabiduría y con nuestro lenguaje universal.
Nibiumake means the spaces where we are from, where we have the universal codes and knowledges.
Siendo un saludo desde allí con mi nombre, Bunkwanimaku.
So a great greeting from the heart of the world, and my name is Bunkwanimaku.
Bunkwanimaku en nuestro idioma ancestral quiere decir que yo nací en la primera hora de las mañanas. Cuando nace el sol.
Bunkwanimaku in nuestro idioma, or in our language, means was born in the first hours of the sun in the morning.
Con ese nombre me siento que todos seamos partícipes para ser líderes para el mundo natural.
With this name, I feel that I am born with being a leader for the natural world.
Por igual, estoy acá con ustedes dando este amable palabras ante ustedes con el conocimiento y la vida del espíritu de las montañas del mundo, que son vivas. Nosotros, pueblo originario, no somos de historias, somos documentos vivos.
I'm here giving you messages from the heart of the world, from the mountains. And those mountains are alive and they represent life. Just as us, we are alive. We're not in the history. We're not history books or history experiences. We are now here representing our culture and our people in vida.
Nuestros atuendos, vestidos, nuestra sabiduría, nuestra lengua no es invento de un sistema, sino del mundo, sistema universal.
Our wisdoms, our clothing, our bags, our knowledges, they are not invented by other systems. They're not shown to us by outside forces. They come directly from perceiving and living the knowledges of the natural world.
Y me siento muy honrado por el patrimonio que tiene el mundo y la humanidad del mundo, que tiene el corazón del mundo. O sea, nosotros hacemos parte del mundo y el mundo tiene corazón. Y el corazón tiene corazón y lo mantenemos allí, la energía energética universal que mantiene la vida universal para que estemos aquí con las vidas.
And I feel very honored that I'm here with you, representing the heart of the world, able to connect to you all and your mountains, where you're from, coming together to exchange these wisdoms and connections to the natural world.
Pero igual, no sé, de pronto ustedes entenderán mejor, pero le expreso por lo que nosotros vivimos allí de muchísimos años, defendiendo, conservando, protegiendo la esencia del universo.
And also presenting the fact that we have been here for many, many, many years, protecting this planet from all of the forces that have come to it and all of the different oppositions or distractions, and showcasing that we are here still with this occupation, with this responsibility to continue.
Por igual, este mundo, le dicen planeta Tierra, para nosotros es una nación del mundo oscuro.
And also this world that we're on, that people call planet Earth, for us in our cosmology, it is a nation inside of the dark world.
Por eso por igual nosotros, el mundo es una nación para mantener nuestra vida. El mundo, ustedes la mayoría lo conocen, este mundo, esta nación verde, está bien desarrollado, está bien constituido, está bien reglamentado para ir avanzando hacia la línea vertical, no en horizontal. En la línea horizontal, lo que tiene la energía energética de juego negativo, debemos caminar en la línea vertical, que son infinitos, que garantiza la vida de muchísimos siglos por siglos, porque tenemos el hombre más capacidad de entender muchos planetas. No solamente aquí estamos para sufrir, sino tenemos un paraíso. Eso es para entenderlos, para vivirlos, porque somos pasajeros. Aquí venimos y vamos a seguir hacia adelante. Si caminamos en el mundo horizontal, en la energía negativa nos lleva hacia el mundo oscuro, donde reina la negatividad, que nosotros le llamamos Akusekuki, es padrino de la energía negativa de puros juegos.
In a relationship with different cosmologies, you'll find similarities between some aspects that are presented here. One of them being the fact that this nation that we're living on, this planet, a nation in the dark world, it's a space that us as humans, we get to start from. But us, we are created not just to live in one planet, but many planets. And if we want to experience a lifetime that is more appropriate for what us as human beings are made for, it is to live in a vertical line instead of the horizontal line. There's two different spaces of living. When we do that, when we live in a system that is driven by negativity and fire, like the artificial system that we've been born into and we help create, that horizontal experience that can be sometimes referred to as life as a vicious cycle or cyclical experience, that horizontal aspect where we just stay in our experiences, it leads to an eventual downfall, an eventual death that will take us to a dark world, because this is a nation in the dark world. living in that horizontal space, in that horizontal way, is not the way of being human. To live with nature and to be connected to the different natural elements, to activate our inherent gifts as humans, to the abilities that we can actually live, guides us to a vertical line, a way of infinite knowledge and infinite ability that is guided by these structures of nature. In the universal law, following what they're presenting, it guides us to a path that allows us to live in this universal line that can take us to further and further aspects of life, to different lives and to different planets. They want to present the difference between the dark world and the light world that we can get to by living in this vertical line.
No sé si se sienten bien o quieren escuchar más. ¿Sí?
Más, por favor.
Por igual, le doy gracias por darme estos espacios y el tiempo, porque tiempos son de los que vivimos de corto tiempo. Para nosotros, el tiempo cuando salimos hacia la línea vertical, no existe tiempo ni horarios, como es universal. Y tampoco no existe día ni noche, sino un solo ser. Por igual, Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, las montañas triángulos, tienen 36 ríos, 618 arroyos, miles nacederos de agua, más de 200 lagunas, tienen todos pisos térmicos. Y los ríos alimentan lo que son los seres vivientes como corales en el mar. Es, digamos, una energía que late por todo el mundo, digamos, de las montañas del mundo, porque la Sierra Nevada está constituida de todas montañas que existen cada uno donde están nuestros hermanitos mayoritarios.
With that in mind, we are representing the heart of the world, the heart of this nation in the dark world. But for us, in our culture, where we're from and what we practice and know as universal law, we don't have time and space. We don't have relationships to some of the boundaries that have been created in your artificial world. We don't have day and night. We don't look at it like that because we have a planet and a sun. And in that relationship, there is never night. There is always light. There's only shade or shadow, which we call night. But for them, being connected to that knowledge and understanding and consciously embodying it, there is never night, which means there is never a true darkness, which makes a big difference for embodying what it is to be light. Here, in the heart of the world, living these traditions and systems in order to be able to take care of the planet in a way that is positive, coming through and managing the different energies, negativity and positivity, through the systems that are embodied through these knowledges.
Por igual, nuestro mandato desde nuestra sabiduría milenaria, todo ser humano nosotros vemos como representación, cada uno como montañas, el hombre. Y las mujeres son dueñas de la vida, madres de las vidas, que mantienen las montañas, los planos. Los hombres son femeninos, o sea, masculinos, que son semillas para la vida. Por eso nosotros, cada uno, ser humano, son un poquito, un elemento más que los seres vivientes. Por eso, cuando uno se convierte, uno camina en el camino, la línea vertical, o sea, horizontal, que es la negatividad, destruye más. Donde pise el hombre, cada paso destruye. Pero si uno está con la línea vertical, entendemos que aquí está nuestra vida, andamos con más precaución. Pero igual, desde el corazón del mundo, que es Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, venimos a compartir esta esencia que es importante entender lo que es, cuál es, está viviendo muy pronto para que se pueda paralizar el corazón, porque están viniendo muchas gentes de diferentes lugares a habitar allí y destruir, pedir títulos mineros. Por igual se destruye, se acaba el agua, la energía, entonces el mundo empieza a sufrir. Deben conocer qué funcione el corazón de uno, porque si uno tiene una herida en diferentes cuerpos, uno aguanta más, pero en el corazón es muy delicado. Entonces debemos partir cómo debemos buscar, proteger cada sitio, cada montaña, que son llaves energéticos para el mundo. Por lo menos en la Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta hay llaves para activar o desactivar en diferentes países que necesitan para sanar las tierras a través de las montañas. Porque ese es el banco de la vida, que nos guía, que nos garantiza la vida. Porque aquí nuestro cuerpo no elegimos cuando nacimos, sino nos tocó ser responsables de nuestro cuerpo. Así son las planetas Tierra, ser responsables. Porque es una nación de la vida de uno. Si uno cuida planeta Tierra, estamos cuidando nuestras vidas, nuestros cuerpos. Necesitamos sanar la Tierra, no solamente dejar espacios, pero si está desactivado, si allí está la energía negativa de puro fuego y empieza a calentarse más. Tenemos que sembrar la ciencia científico universal, por eso debemos desactivar. Eso tiene el poder, esa energía está en el corazón del mundo. Por eso le dicen corazón del mundo. Y cada uno tiene corazón. El ojo tiene corazón, el oído tiene corazón, todo tiene corazón y corazón tiene corazón. Nosotros vivimos, partimos de allí, que nos garantiza la vida. Por eso aquí estamos, la vida de ustedes. No nos vean simplemente que la Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta existe, un arhuaco indígena. No, nosotros somos conservadores de nuestra vida. Así como nos ven, tenemos que estar con paz y armonía con la naturaleza. Vivimos con la vida de ustedes. Y todas las montañas del mundo están allí. Son padres, madres de ustedes. Y de todas las montañas del país, cada uno.
All right. For this experience itself, I highly invite everyone to learn Spanish. It's serious, like the wisdom that these people can present, especially. He's one of the best Spanish-speaking, highest conscious spiritual elder on the planet. So definitely do some Duolingo and stuff, because this is some dope stuff, right? Like, all right, so let's go. Started with an invitation, continuing to share the wisdoms of what they have in their cosmology. Men, the masculine characters, are represented by the mountains. Men are mountains. Our
women were mountains and men were Selenium. Yeah, they were.
No, you need help. You're a lake. Just saying, you can ask her, them, or anybody else. But the notes that might have been taken might have been misunderstood. Let's start with the other one. Men kind of suck anyway, so let's go first to the women. So women, in their cosmology, are considered to be lakes, as the mother, water, wisdom, providers of life. Also, to that, where the lakes are living, they're considered to be plains, planos, the flat areas, the valleys, because that is where life is created. There's abundance, there's fruits, there's other experiences of animals. Obviously, that all lives in the mountains as well. But to put it simple, now I feel a little frazzled, but women are the plains and men are the mountains. And in order for mountains, men, masculine characters, to be able to be empowered, they need the plains, because a mountain can't stand by itself. It needs to stand on top of something. And the women are the ones, the planet Earth, that are able to support and provide life, provide abundance, provide an ecosystem, provide the experiences and elements necessary for a mountain to be powerful. So the men have that. The women are creating the men are helping the women. And it's this cyclical experience. That was a very short part of the first part, so we'll just fast forward to more of what he said. Those two aspects are combined to create life, and it's the necessary experience that we have as a human. In the heart of the world, where there's a lot of valleys and mountains, men and women, ancient spirits, the heart of the world, the mountains there are connected to all of the mountains on the planet. The story is that all of the mountains that were put there when the planet was first created, in the heart, they were then like copy and pasted around the planet. So the essence of all of the mountains everywhere is connected to the heart of the world, where they are the stewards and the technicians. In that sense, there are nodes on the planet, different positive and negative spaces that are designed because we live, the planet itself is a highly sophisticated technology. It's a bunch of natural systems that are alive and functioning in a very, very complex, but very, very simple way. In that sense, these nodes around the planet, there's a lot of destruction that's been created because of negative energies related to fire. Most of our technologies, pretty much all of our technologies, are built on fire, which has a negative energy. So as we get more developed as a culture, it just creates more destruction on the planet. That happens in specific areas, and they have the ability to look at those areas on the planet from this supercomputer of the heart of the world. In that sense, when we hurt our arm, our hand, our ear, whatever, it's easier to understand that got hurt, and also it's easier to deal with that and fix it or change and adapt. But when our heart is under pressure and it has to fight against negative forces, some sort of sickness or a virus, an illness, an unease, a disharmony, it's first off hard to identify that unless you live in the heart. And Secondly, it's also much more fragile. It's harder to fix. So it's extremely important to be aware as a human, as a being, as a different being, as a dog, any experience that has a heart. That's the most important aspect for you to keep your life functioning and going. He's relating that to the fact that the heart of the planet has now more and more people from our systems coming in and asking for mining titles and building businesses and creating farms and clear-cutting land and doing what they call development. And that's more and more prevalent. So he's here presenting that, saying as an invitation to others to see like, hey, everywhere on the planet has some sort of disharmony happening, some sort of development happening, some sort of destruction happening. And they're all important. But what's really, really important is the heart. And that's something that he wants to showcase more of through these experiences so that we can see what's really happening and what's really going on. Right now, we're getting to a point where the heart of the planet is becoming almost overwhelmed to an aspect that the heart will have an accident or a shock or an attack or a failure.
Por igual, estamos acá, formamos, y él trabaja en instituciones sobre manejo, cómo son los procesos de adquirir tierra, contar ellos, pero yo, con ello, yo invito a ustedes que seamos parte de la nación verde, ya que somos la vida, ir más directos en prácticas, porque yo he entendido desde del mundo natural, he visto que está en el mundo artificial que va en riesgo, en el mundo de fuego negativos. Y mucha gente yo le he escuchado decir, quiero cambiar el mundo. Y dicen, ahora vamos a cambiar el mundo. Y para nuestros pueblos originarios no se trata de cambiar el mundo, sino cuidar lo que existe, conservar lo que está deteriorándose o de lo que están acabando. Allí están las vidas. Entonces, para que la vida esté de muchísimos años, que garantice las venideras, porque son prestados, entonces tenemos que conservar las vidas, para que ellos sean líderes y el cuerpo va a descansar. Si dejamos ese espíritu vivos con vida en cada montaña, esos son sistemas, el códigos que va a estar leyendo a través de los fauna, de las floras, las montañas y el agua. Seamos eternos, pero en práctica en vivas. Entonces, por igual en la Sierra Nevada, quiero conseguir un espacio para que conversemos de esta forma y formemos, no solamente llenar de información, sino vivir en prácticas, en vivos, conseguir 1000 hectáreas y dejar 70% en conservación y 30% para estar líderes de ese nativo, de ese lugar, leyendo los códigos, y 50 hectáreas para trabajar con el sistema que ustedes manejan, desde el sistema artificial, e empezar a conservar el mundo natural en nuestras vidas. Ustedes tienen herramientas muy importantes, porque mucha gente han venido obligados de una necesidad que le crean desde el sistema artificial y a destruir el mundo natural que es nuestra vida. Entonces el mismo sistema empiece a transformar con nuestra vivencia, con nuestro cuerpo y conservar el mundo natural para que estemos en paz y en armonía. Porque el pueblo araco necesita recuperar al menos dentro de la línea negra 260.000 hectáreas, que sea un banco de nuestras vidas y la vida de la humanidad, de muchísimos de seres vivientes. Y entonces necesitamos que empecemos y acelerar efectivas, las regenerativas, no solamente en teoría. No debemos casarse con la teoría, hablar de practicismos, sino dar pasos vivos. Allí están agua, nacederos de agua y semillas energéticas científicas que mucho tiempo que nosotros nos mantienes y estamos listos para compartir con ustedes. Ir en diferentes montañas a activar lo que es energía positiva y desactivar lo que es energías negativas. Porque entre las montañas son los padres energéticos que nos conduce hacia la línea vertical. Por igual acá trabajamos a través de las simbologías tejiendo mucho. Nosotros le decimos tutu, maku, utusoma, que son, digamos, la identidad que reina, que nos hace reinar como paz y armonía, alegría, porque en la Sierra Nevada no hay silencio, existe sonido prudente, que no hay miedos, la naturaleza no da miedos, sino nos da instrucciones, inteligencias. Entonces, por igual, aquí tenemos unos símbolos que son a través de los tutos, mochilas. Esos son símbolos, son los códigos que están en la Sierra Nevada. Y duran 2 o 3 meses para hacer estas mochilas. Y eso es como mantener nuestra vida de la humanidad del mundo. Entonces, le invito que seamos parte de la Nación Verdes para fortalecernos como amigos, para estar juntos con nuestros códigos. Gracias, Luni.
Luni.
Igual aquí traigo unos granos de cacao de la Sierra Nevada. Si necesitan masticar pueden venir y sacar y probar.
So, as I'm speaking, anyone interested in coming in and taking one of these seeds, it comes from the heart of the world. They are cacao, and if you would like to chew on them, it has universal codes in it from the heart. Universal energies and wisdoms that can combine with your being, your vibration, and have an effect. I invite you to do so. I also invite you to Green Nation. We would like to have 1,000 hectares in the heart of the world, inside our black line reservations. A lot of that land has been stolen from us over the last hundreds of years, and we are on our way to get it back. We are collecting 265,000 hectares in total that we are reclaiming little by little by buying it through our own economies, through our donations, through help from other alliances and countries. And 1,000 hectares we would like to dedicate to the seed of Green Nation. There, we will dedicate, as it is written in our universal law, that 70% must be conserved. So we will have 700 hectares of conservation. 250 of those hectares will be turned into an area for our technicians and our people to amplify the practices that we've been embodying. A place to continue conserving, downloading, and promoting the universal codes 50 hectares to complete the 1,000 will be dedicated to our outside brothers and sisters coming in, using the artificial world, the artificial technologies that exist, and putting them there as those have gotten to a point that they're important. They have many abilities that can be useful as long as they're used in the right way. So our invitation isn't to invite you and others to come to this space, to help create this space, to create this seed experience, to live in the practice of what we speak, not just to be married to the theory of it. As we continue getting more and more theory, we must put it into practice. We don't want more information. We want to live in formation, to form ourselves. So that invitation is open to you to come to Green Nation in the heart of the world and to start practicing these experiences in real life with the land, with us, making this bridge between the artificial world and the natural world.
Quedó un frase del sol, es un nación. La función del sol, nosotros llamamos Bunkwakukui, tiene una función muy importante, pero tiene dos energías energéticas para este mundo natural. Una energía energética que mantiene este mundo natural, pero dependiendo la capacidad que maneja el humano, ser humano. Porque si empieza a destruir la energía del sol energética, empieza también a fortalecer negativa. Pero si empieza a fortalecer lo que es energía positiva de una luz, también empieza a fortalecer que es positiva. Hoy en día, cuando dicen calentamiento global, no es por casualidad, sino por la destrucción, por la conciencia energética negativa. Entonces el sol espera para consumir este planeta de la vida. Por igual nosotros es muy preocupante. Pronto 100% del ser humano no alcanza a entender esto, de seres como debe ser. Pero unos 25% sí. Creo que está dispuesto. Por igual, nosotros para el mundo artificial ya sobra, pero para el mundo natural hay mucho que hacer y cómo hacer, hay mucha posibilidad y todo es posible. Entonces tenemos que tener en cuenta el Sun Nation, que es una nación, o sea, nación del sol. Tenemos que tener y entender qué espíritu, con qué pensamiento estoy aquí en el mundo natural, es para transformar, porque todo se limita en nuestra mente. Entonces empezar a desarrollar y sembrar esta conciencia con energética positiva, entendiendo la realidad de la vida. Porque mucha gente dice el sol se oculta hacia occidente. Para nosotros no se oculta, sino ilumina, va a iluminar. Y se oculta hacia oriente, porque el sol viene, o sea, como el mundo va va girando con su propio eje. En ese camino nosotros nos saludamos siendo Duni, porque va girando hacia la derecha. Mucha gente nos dice, cuando uno le enseña o en una escuela le dicen que el sol se oculta hacia occidente. Cuando uno le pone con nuestra sabiduría, no se ilumina hacia occidente, entonces nos dicen, te perdió la evaluación. Pero no, para nosotros no perdimos, sino esa es la dirección. Entonces el mundo material, mundo artificial nos lleva en otras vías. Entonces no sé si le estoy explicando como debo explicar. Gracias.
So I want to say something that I forgot. Something was leaving earlier. I'm translating what he said. About the sun, about Sun Nation, about the nation of the sun. With the sun, there's two different energies. It has the ability to have two different energies. Everything is limited in our minds. As we gain more consciousness and we gain more ability, understanding, clarity, more openness is allowed for us. That openness is uplifted and expanded through positivity, through light. The two energies that the sun can have is negative or positive. The sun itself will lend its energy to either one of them. That's why when we talk about global warming, the sun is the one to blame, related to all of our technologies that are created. But those developments that are created with negativity in mind, either consciously or ignorantly or willfully. And then sun itself lends itself to that negative force. But as we grow and start to understand this seated consciousness, we can become allies with the sun and use that alliance to create more positivity. As we start to put that energy into our physical world, into our constructions of practice, into our movements and life, the sun will start amplifying our positivity. And limits that we have will start going away. We'll start to become more empowered. Sun Nation is moving in that direction. A lot of the artificial world, it's already gotten to a point where there's more than enough. There's way more than enough. We can create anything we want. It's already created somewhere sitting on a shelf. But the natural world, there's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of understanding, overstanding, and hopefully understanding to align with the natural world, to be able to come back to harmony, to see tranquility and peace within our lives. When we connect ourselves to that and we align ourselves with the possibilities, because anything is possible, then that positivity helps us get to those experiences and helps us create those possibilities into a reality. That is the practice that we wish to share. And that's what Sun Nation is extending as a bridge for others to come to the natural world, to leave the experience of just the negative part of the sun, and to understand how to work with it in order to have positivity, peace, and harmony as you are secured in this vertical line, this living within the natural law, this connection that you can have with the heart of the world. And when you come to the heart of the world and you embody this practice, you can seed your soul and connect it, reconnect it to that void space, to that experience that you may be looking for in your life. Because your mothers and fathers are all in the heart of the world, as your mothers and fathers are the mountains and the plains. They are there waiting for you. And we invite you to come and learn this bridging, to learn this embodiment, to become this practice, and connect with the positive energy of the sun.
Kajina tutu mi bezan. Azumi bezan mi fikiri. Nanti. Ye makam anjuna panuga je juna panuga anu be panuga winar panuga gaga Eima gegerek zakisana wasi ajasi negabiana nenani ebeti dakainak kre aju dari bukan okapek aju ngek aftarin na singana narap yani ebangana di Eima agusi Eima zanak ke nanang wanari ke nak naroni Ewana me abi nabung aja ada kenama kenana Eimi nang abang duni Eimi kawi tak kalam kenani nak zaman luga gege ada zakisa nang wanari di kamu kenana nane Eima abani bin kuanan nak zename Eimi bin kusip Ewe nak mace nak digang kawai kuazet nang gede Juman si zeng nang wani gina nena jen nang nama yang dema kita nukor bin kuat habis zanan diga bana nusi Eime kedua zang nukang ngene aju tuwe sadil nagungan yang dema zang sing gak kanam se arunusi angkang kunam se alpanan awan ko di kanugani jeng nak naroni ebede mere gege kerja kemajana ima kene kosan lagi
Voy a hacer la traducción de la palabra del sabio. Comienza saludando. Yo vengo de la montaña, de la Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, y yo tengo la función de traer el mensaje, de ser el traductor del lenguaje de la naturaleza, de la lluvia, del árbol, de los pájaros, de la naturaleza en general. Para hacer esta traducción entre la naturaleza y el hombre, me formé por mucho tiempo. Y nosotros, muchas personas como yo, de mi pueblo, hacemos y tenemos la misma tarea. Yo vengo en representación y en vocería de otros sabios que están allá y al mismo tiempo traer el mensaje de la naturaleza. Hemos llegado hasta acá para compartir, no sé si.
I am the translator for nature. I come here with the ability, the need, the necessity, and the embodiment of being the one who translates what nature says. I've spent many years, a lot of time, being formed, being trained, and becoming one who can be the translator of nature to man. I am in charge of bringing that message to my people. I am also a speaker for other mamas, other wise men, other translators like myself. Here, I am here to represent them, to speak what it is that nature is saying, so that it can be shown to others. I come with that message.
Llegar hasta acá, queremos que los hermanos, los hermanitos que nos escuchan, también entiendan nuestro mensaje y que también puedan ser parte de esta naturaleza. Esa es mi tarea, esa es mi función. Queremos que la energía de todos ustedes también se conecte a la energía de la naturaleza.
I have come here and made it to this point in front of you all with this homework, with this task. Representing nature, it is in our interest that all of the energy, each one of you, can connect to nature again, to have that so that all of your energies are plugged in to that network and that system.
Iware ya miratare hamonse bichang zare zengwatina nika awakino gar nikam iwat pakumakino gane yang awak bari nikam atari kwak mobali iware chuzakna dengan kawat sekolah ni kanu gane nak nandi ngka zampang de kuchpai ni kanu gane ei makin zan le pusane peki ei mang pinna zangano bes pausika azabi tina di gunam senangganano mibi di pau pina guzandi azara agazarunga bezanan na zari gebel bini pana bezanandi awanaba mezani ei gugumang bi samoi keni zananki Ekin kina nak cizana mitok hamane mitok hamane mikizam nak de paso que
En la actualidad, lo que vemos es que se ha activado muchas energías negativas que empiezan a gobernar.
What we see actually is that a lot of energies, a lot of negative energies have been activated and are starting to govern.
Entonces vemos la gran tarea de empezar resarcir estas energías negativas, recoger para empezar a equilibrar, para que exista la armonía. Y queremos que ustedes también sean parte de eso y que de alguna manera entren a esta iniciativa como nosotros nos damos la tarea de cuidar el corazón, que es el corazón de todos. Es lo que quiero dejarle como mensaje. Quiero decir muchas cosas, pero si empiezo a contarle seguro le va a dar sueño, entonces quiero dejar el mensaje hasta ahí. Muchas gracias.
So that all of the negative energy that's starting to govern, we have a very big task and work in front of us. And what we need to do is to start putting that energy in recession, to go around and recollect it, to collect it all up and put it where it needs to go, to start managing it. And it's a great amount of work. I would like to invite you to be a part of that. It is our wish that in some way, how you feel called to be able to participate in this experience and be connected to this natural system, to do this work together. I have a lot of things that I would like to share, a lot of things that I would like to say, but if I start to do that, I'm sure you all will start to fall asleep. So I will leave it there with this big message and invitation to become a part of this work that we have in front of us.
Muy bien, quiero preguntar, ¿no hay sueño? ¿Hay energía? Sí. ¿Hay fuerza? Sí. ¿Hay idiomas? Sí.
So, are you sure there's no one has any tiredness and no need to take a break? Good to go?
Good to go.
All right. You feeling strong about the message they're bringing?
Yes. Yes.
All right. You think we might be able to participate with a little bit of it in some way?
Yes.
Listo. Digamos Duni, todos.
Duni.
All right. Everybody say Duni together.
Duni.
Hey.
Otra vez.
Duni.
Hay energía. Bueno, primero,
First,
mi nombre es Rogelio Torres.
my name is Rogelio Torres.
El nombre que me dio la naturaleza me llamo Diaruxindo.
And the name that nature gave me is
Diaruxindo. Espero que el mensaje le llegue a cada uno de ustedes y que lo pueda llevar en cada uno de sus territorios.
I hope that this message has landed with each of you and that you can also take it to each one of your territories.
Necesitamos entendernos, escucharnos.
We need to understand each other and listen to each other.
Quiero decir que vamos a activar nuestro corazón.
I want to say that we're activating our heart.
Como el corazón, un pedacito que es como el corazón del planeta Tierra, del universo.
And the heart, it is a little part of the world, a little part of the universe, a small space.
Despertamos el corazón, necesitamos abrir el oído.
To open up the heart, we need to open up our ears.
Y necesitamos abrir los ojos.
And we need to open our eyes.
necesitamos despertar
We need to wake up.
y necesitamos aterrizar en el suelo.
And we need to be in the earth to connect.
Porque si no, somos como esta mata.
Because no, we are like this root, this tree, this little plant.
No tiene conexión con la tierra.
It doesn't have a connection to the earth.
Si no tenemos conexión con la tierra,
If we don't have a connection to the earth,
estamos dados a acabarnos nosotros mismos.
then we're on our path to start to acabar, to like terminate ourselves, to deteriorate.
Pero si empezamos a activar nuestro corazón, nuestros ojos, nuestros oídos, nuestros pensamientos, vamos a conectarnos con la naturaleza.
But if we start to open our ears, our eyes, our minds, we can start to connect, opening up our heart, then we'll be communicating and connected to nature.
Entonces, vamos a soñar el futuro. Quiero que cada uno sueñe en el futuro.
So we're going to start dreaming the future. I
¿Cómo
want
queremos el futuro?
everyone to start dreaming for the future. What do we want in our future?
2 segundos para que sueñen el futuro.
2 seconds. Take 2 seconds now and dream about your future you want.
Seguro soñaron un futuro lleno de bosques, lleno de aguas,
Dream about a
lleno de vida.
future that's full of forests, full of water, full of life.
Si eso lo soñamos, vamos para allá.
If we dream of that, that is where we will be going.
Entonces, para ir allá, a nuestra vida,
So to get there in our life,
que nuestra vida es prestada, nos dieron por un ratico, porque somos de paso,
and like our life is loaned to us, we're here just for a short time.
necesitamos darle contenido,
We need to give content to our life.
necesitamos darle vida
We need to give
a nuestra energía.
life to our energy.
Y si le damos vida a nuestra energía,
And if we give
sembramos el futuro,
life
sembramos el bienestar.
to our energy, then we are seeding our future. We are seeding our good estate, the life.
Entonces, nuestra energía, nuestro espíritu, nuestro pensamiento nunca van a morir.
So in that sense, our energy, our spirit, our future, it will never die. We will be connected.
Nosotros vamos a cambiar de espacio, pero siempre nuestra energía, nuestro espíritu, nuestra vida va a estar en el bosque, en la naturaleza.
We'll be changing through time, but always our energy will be seeded and kept in nature, in the forests, in the mountains.
Entonces, para ir allá necesitamos invitar amigos, conocidos, familias, hermanos,
And to get there, we're going to need to invite our friends, the ones we know, our families, our intimate relationships, to accompany us.
para empezar a proteger los elementos que a nosotros nos da vida. El agua, la energía, la tierra, el aire, que finalmente somos parte de ellos.
To protect the 4 elements that exist here on the earth: air, earth, water, and energy. There's one that we call fire. They say fire is a negative force. They talk about it as energy. So there's earth, air, water, and energy. And we need to protect them with
Entonces,
our friends.
Si empezamos a abrir la energía, empezamos a hacer fogatas, empezamos a escuchar el pájaro del canto el pájaro el canto de diferentes especies animales, vamos a activar más la energía para que siga lloviendo, para que haya más comida, para que haya más planta, para que el agua no se acabe. Necesitamos garantizar el futuro.
Since we are activated, incredible conscious beings of cosmic energy, our attention dictates what amplifies. So when we start paying more attention to the birds and what they're singing, to the insects and what they're saying, the wind, all the aspects of nature, the sound of water, as we put our attention to that more, it will amplify. It will become more. It will receive the energy from us, from our being, and that in our friends. As the consciousness expands, as we lend ourselves to what we care about, it will create this harmonic cycle of life.
Y hoy necesitamos ir por este camino.
Today we need to start going towards that path.
La sociedad mayoritaria está hablando de calentamiento global, habla de cambio climático.
The majority of the world right now is talking about climate change.
Y se cree que quieren tener un futuro mejor solo escribiendo en el papel.
And they think that in order to allow us to have a better future, that we can get there just by writing things down on paper.
Cuando finalmente el papel no es el culpable. Necesitamos que cada uno empecemos a cambiar nuestra dinámica, nuestra actitud.
And in that sense, it's not the paper that has the fault. We ourselves need to start changing our behavior, our attitude, start having our actions put in practice to make a positive change towards this future.
Un cambio de actitud que vaya en coherencia con el mandato y las normas de la naturaleza.
A change in attitude that is in accordance with the natural laws.
Entonces, mañana queremos reunirnos con todos ustedes más otros amigos. Pasado mañana con otros amigos y necesitamos seguir sumando.
So tomorrow we want to meet with you guys again with more friends. And then the next day, everyone again with more friends. And we keep adding more and more, and every day we'll get there.
Entonces, la invitación a todos, vamos a despertar el corazón y empecemos a cuidar el corazón, donde están las madres, los dueños de la vida de cada una de ustedes. Allí no importa si es blanco, negro, feo, bonito, y todos nos quieren.
So that invitation then is to start activating the heart, to start caring for the hearts, and to care for our mothers, the guardians and providers of all life, all over the world. It doesn't matter if they're black or white or green or beautiful or ugly. All mothers, they're all loving.
Entonces, seguro todos a ustedes los convocó el árbol, la montaña o el pájaro. Seguro por eso querían llegar hasta acá. Es el mensaje que queremos compartir y bueno, como decían, para que no le dé sueño, lo dejamos hasta ahí.
And for sure, you guys, each one of you have invoked or connected to birds or trees or different aspects of nature, the butterflies, whatever it is that you're connected to. That's what brought you here in this moment, to come and connect again in this space. And of course, as we said earlier, we could go on and on for a while. We'll probably get tired. So in that sense, we're going to leave this message here.
Todos podemos, ustedes pueden, entre todos podemos.
Everyone can. Everyone can. All is possible. With everyone within us, we can.
Oh, Duni, otra vez.
Duni!
Duni, Duni.
Duni! Ahora tenemos lo más dulce.
tardes a todos. Es un placer estar aquí. A ustedes. Mi nombre es Gunnavimaco. Extraído de una montaña que es el padre de las comidas, de todo comida extranjeras. Bueno, yo soy joven, acompañando a los mayores, aprendiendo la sabiduría de los ancestros de las montañas y ver a aquellas personas que están aprendiendo junto a nosotros. Invitar a todos los jóvenes de mi edad que es importante aprender, conectar y ser consciente con la naturaleza, porque de aquí en adelante lo más importante va a ser la naturaleza, porque la tecnología moderna no se compara. La tecnología es física y la más dúctil, bueno, o sea, buenísimo, digamos, porque la naturaleza es muy increíble. La filosofía de la naturaleza es muy increíble porque es invisible y funciona igual que la tecnología moderna, o sea, y mucho más que eso. Y invito a todos los jóvenes a conocer que es importante la naturaleza, porque veo a ustedes que ya son bastantes mayores. Y de aquí adelante va a ser, el mundo va a ser dependiendo de los jóvenes, porque ellos van a ser el futuro, los niños, los que van creciendo. Eso. Invito a todos los jóvenes, todos jóvenes de América Latina y de otros continentes, aquí en la Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, que es el corazón del mundo, y allá los voy a estar esperando para compartir el conocimiento que ellos me enseñan y los ancestros. Gracias.
Bueno, my name is Gunnavimaku. I am a young leader from my people, and I am here accompanying the elders. I am learning from them, learning with them. And I'd like to make an invitation to all of the young people around the world, to all of the youth. I would like to invite them to see how important nature is. Because really, nature, at least from here on, it's the most important. It's going to be the most important. It will continue to be more and more important. We have the artificial world, where we have technologies, new technologies, modern technologies that have been created. They're cool, they're physical, they function, but they don't compare at all to natural technologies. They don't compare at all to the natural world. In reality, the most duksha, the coolest, dopest, awesomest technology, duksha means like dope, is the natural world. It functions very similarly to the artificial technologies that have been created, but it's way better. It's way more. There's way more access that's invisible, and it functions equally and even more. In that sense, from here and in the future, we're going to need to appreciate it even more and more, to understand what is nature, it's technology. How does it work and where does it live? How did we even come up with these artificial technologies that are trying to compete with it? It doesn't compare. And I, as a young person, I look out and I see everyone here. It's very impressive that the people here want to learn. But I don't see many youth. I see a lot of grown adults. And in the future, the ones that will be managing is the youth. Our future is the young people that are growing, that are becoming. And in that sense, I want to extend an invitation to everyone, all of the young people in Latin America and in other countries, to come visit the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, the heart of the world, the mountains that we take care of. I'd like them to come and learn what it is to be connected to the natural world, to the technologies that invisibly allow everything around us to function, the things that give us life. I would like them to meet me there. And with that, I thank you.
Queremos
Un poco alto.
Hola, hola, hola. Como queremos compartir, ahora queremos escuchar. Nosotros le dimos el mensaje y queremos escuchar. ¿Tienen alguna pregunta?
Now, as we have shared, as we've come to share, we'd also like to listen. If anybody has any questions or inspirations, someone would like to share something, we're here to listen.
¿O algún mensaje?
Or a message.
I want to say thank you very much for bringing this message, and I feel very inspired to get involved and find a way how I can contribute on this path. So my question is, what's the next step, what to do? Should I come to Sierra Nevada? And yeah.
Bueno, yo siento muy inspirado por este mensaje que usted Yo siento muy inspirado por este mensaje que ustedes están compartiendo y bueno, tan inspirado que quiero saber qué puedo hacer, qué es el próximo paso que puede involucrar, con qué puedo involucrarme y si es a ir en el corazón del mundo o lo que sea, me interesa saber lo que puedo hacer para ayudar en esto. Ok, bueno, vamos a escuchar a todos un poquito y hacer okay, so we're going to listen to a couple people, everybody, and we're going to give condensed answers to see where we go. Does anybody else want to say something?
Hello, I'm so happy that you are here. I thank you so much for your prayers to the world outside of where you live. I wanted you to know that your prayers that you are doing are touching people all over the world, because my travel started with meeting one of the Kogis in Germany, and everything started from there for me being here today in Mexico. So I wanted to thank you for believing in the world and for coming here all the way to talk to the people and to raise the consciousness. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Quiero darte unas gracias bien grande, agradecer a ustedes para compartir tu mensaje y tus oraciones, tus rezos que hacen, y para decir que yo sé que lo que están haciendo ustedes energéticamente está afectando muchísima gente en todo el planeta, y la gente siente esto. Estoy muy agradecido. Quiero que ustedes conozcan esto. Igualmente quiero decir de la profundidad de mi corazón, muchas gracias por el trabajo que ustedes hacen, que es importantísimo que este existe y que ustedes creen en nosotros y creen en la humanidad, y que ustedes vienen en lugares así para compartir este mensaje. Gracias.
Can we invite people just to get more?
We would like to invite anyone else who would like to share.
Yeah, it's much better.
Because of the sound, anybody who can come up and
Well, I just want to say thank you, my brothers, for coming today. Your energy, your work is of tremendous value to us, and to add your spirit to this space has been an honor and a blessing. Gracias. Gracias. Duni.
Luni. Y para terminar, y para terminar, la historia de ella fue muy impactosa. Ella se fue a Alemania, a un lugar, y había un kogi, y conectaban, y así este momento, esta influencia, ha afectado su camino tanto, y por esto ha llegado aquí ahora en esta forma, en esta manera. Entonces, gracias por todo lo que hacen ustedes del corazón del mundo. También agradeciendo Mandip a ustedes para venir, que él siente muy honorado que están, y hay más.
It's off. You just gotta turn it on.
Buenas tardes, gracias por su presencia. Es que tengo una pregunta que está pensando. Cuando estaba hablando sobre este tipo de comprando la tierra, ¿de quién está comprando? ¿Son otros tribus o son de los gobiernos? ¿Son de quién? Y también son tierra ya cultivada o son selva. Y ese tipo de conservación oficial con el gobierno es una otra cosa. Es que yo estaba en parte de un fideicomiso de tierra. Fideicomiso, gracias. En Los Ángeles, y es difícil comprar tierra allá, pero si hay una manera de apoyar, quiero saber lo que está pasando y de quién y cómo.
¿Qué es palo y calabaza amarilla que tiene?
D'un tuanimaco, si es tuyo. ¿Y el tuyo? D'un abimaco. Un abimaco. Tengo una pregunta para ti. ¿Cuál es tu sueño? O sea, ¿cómo sueñas que lleguen los jóvenes a la sierra? ¿Cuál es ese sueño que tienes? Y otras dos preguntas. ¿Cómo, como mujer, para el mamá, me puedo conectar con la energía vertical? ¿Y cómo me puedo conectar con la energía positiva del sol?
Hola, muchas gracias por estar aquí y compartir este mensaje tan importante. Sí, que nos recuerda de nuestros corazones, vivir en este modo. Yo también tengo una pregunta que está conectada con esta. Es como nosotros estamos aquí en el mundo horizontal, ¿no? Tenemos toda la tecnología, estamos viviendo en pueblos. ¿Cómo podemos conectar con esta energía vertical en nuestras vidas normales, no estando en la naturaleza?
Anybody else have some questions or messages? Una última.
Hello, I'm Will, Goodwill. Nice to be here with you all. I was honored to go to the Nikuma Green Nation in December with some of our friends here, and I got to experience being a part of the seed gathering, which is the first intercultural exchange that they have welcomed others to come and try out to have an experience of living their way of life. It was amazing, and seeing them live in harmony with nature and taking us to their sacred mountains and understanding better in person, nothing could speak for the experience better than going and participating. And they're inviting us all to do that. So I suggest and welcome and encourage you all to grab one of their pieces of paper and get in touch. Thank you all for being here.
Bueno, la última cosa fue que dice, bueno, hola, soy Goodwill y bueno, yo he tenido la oportunidad, la gran oportunidad a ir para algunos días en Nación Verde, Nikuma, en el evento de Seed Gathering, de semilla, en Gunkeruangeku. Y yo he tenido una experiencia tan como ducha y positiva que mirando todos acá y escuchando a la invitación que ustedes están dando, para mí no hay otra manera para decir qué grande es a sentir, a ir en las montañas con ellos y aprender más de la naturaleza, a conectar más y a ver qué tanta armonía hay en las maneras de ellos a vivir con la naturaleza. Entonces con esto yo digo a todos acá que si hay inspiración en esta, si hay una llamada, bueno, tomar esta invitación por los hilos de ellos y ir con esto, porque es algo más que impresionante.
para recoger un poquito, tejer el hilo de él.
And to collect a little bit, to get the string coming from what he said.
Me están diciendo que me pare porque después se duerme ya. Como se entendió que la Sierra Nevada es donde está el mandato universal, los códigos universales, nuestra tarea es cuidar para el bienestar global.
As it was said, the heart of the world is where the universal codes are. The language of nature is there and it exists, and our work and our task is to take care of that.
Que es símbolo también del corazón de cada uno de nosotros.
It's a symbol also of the heart of all of us.
Entonces, necesitamos recuperar espacios que están en manos de colonos, campesinos o mineros que finalmente no aporta esto, sino más bien destruye.
We need to get back land that is in the hands of colonizers, farmers, miners, because these lands, they don't support the universal codes that we speak of. They support a different energy.
Y al recuperar una área, lo que necesitamos es activar la energía que allí está. La energía de la lluvia, la energía de la comida, la energía de la vida de cada uno de nosotros, para que empiecen a cantar los pájaros, para que el jaguar empiece a hacer su función, para que el pájaro empiece también a llamar la lluvia. Y si empezamos a cuidar allí, también seguramente va a empezar a activarse las otras montañas, bien sea en Rusia, en Alemania, en muchos países.
So, bringing these lands, getting them liberated, we need to have a space of conservation that where others are coming and learning how to reactivate these energetic points. There are physical and spiritual energetic points in these areas, and when we do the works, physical, spiritual, energetic works as real technicians together, we can activate these points. So getting a big land like that and activating these points, it will be bringing the birds back, it will be bringing the jaguars back so that they can all do their functions. Each one of these animals doesn't just live to live. They all perform a specific harmonic function as codes in the forest. And as we get a mountain back and conserve it and reharmonize it and reactivate it, and these different seres vivientes, these different living beings or living codes come back, they start to sing. They sing to make the rain come. When you look at quantum physics, metaphysics, all the aspects of science, you can see that this is what surely when we have that space and it is reactivated and harmonized, then in the heart of the world, since it is connected to so many other places on the planet, you will start to see change from a energetic space and a physical space in different countries all over the planet. As we get one space and another space in the heart, as each mountain gets reactivated, there is a reflection around the planet where other mountains also become harmonized.
Además, es donde hay muchas especies de aves migratorias llegan a descansar en épocas. Ellos también van allá a hacer sus funciones que tienen que ver con el mandato de la naturaleza. Entonces el llamado y la invitación es, vamos a hacer lo mismo que nuestros pájaros que vienen de diferentes mundos a aportar allí. Es el único corredor, el único punto donde llegan especies, comprobado científicamente, donde llegan especies, incluso especies marinas. Ahí ese paso tanto de aves. Y también son espacios donde encuentran muchas especies vegetales que en otro mundo no hay, y eso está comprobado también por estudios. Esa es la función que cumple la sierra.
And it can be seen that in this space, as we are creating conservation, it is the heart of the world. It's been shown many times in different spaces of science. You can see as a similar function that we hope that everyone here can help us replicate in a reflective way as humans. Birds from different parts of the planet, they come specifically to the heart of the world, to this mountain, to this area, to rest, to have their nest, to come, and they pick up energetic codes from the heart. That's why they're migrating. They land there, spend some time, get all vibed up, and then they go back out to where they're taking that energetic code. Those are just birds, but also the marine life. It'll travel across the planet and put itself right there at the beach, at the foot of the mountain, at the heart of the world. There's an energetic line there, and all of these beings, different kinds from all around the planet, will come there, pick up knowledges, do their works, and go back to where they need to be going. In the same sense, it's scientifically shown and proven that this one point on the entire planet has the most species of animals that come and visit it. In that sense, we want to be inviting others as humans to come, connect, rest, harmonize, pick up codes and take it back to their spaces.
Entonces, en conclusión, recuperar un área es para que se reactive la energía y empiece a cumplir su función ecológica.
So, in conclusion, to conserve land is to reactivate it in a harmonic way so that it can start to complete its given function.
Como todavía hay dos preguntas, aquí el compañero va a responder.
And as there's still 2 more questions left that we're still continuing to answer, Bunkonimaku's going to say that. Oh, you were...
Bueno, cuando dijo cómo puedo participar,
Okay,
cómo puedo ser parte.
You asked how can you participate and how can you be part of it.
Creo que de alguna otra forma somos parte, porque nos gusta agua pura, respirar con aire puro, alguna otra forma, directa o indirecta o filosóficamente estamos con ellas.
I think in that sense, when we look at it, we are already part of it in some way. We all like pure water. We all want pure air. Physically, spiritually, philosophically, in some way, we are already connected.
Pero igual les digo algo muy concreto.
But in that sense, I'm also going to say something very concrete.
Porque todas las montañas que existen en la Sierra Nevada son específicos.
Every mountain that exists in the Sierra Nevada is specific.
Es un libro vivo.
It's a living book. Every single mountain has a specific function and purpose.
Como aquí le dijeron, aquí llegan muchos faunas de diferentes países a conectarse, a llevar esa energía, y alimentar de la energía en el corazón del mundo, tanto en submarinos, o sea, lo que hay en el mar, todo llega en cada punto bien ordenado, porque todas las montañas están conectadas con el fondo del mar y todos van como para proteger, para sentir y como a conectarse con la línea vertical, pero donde van a habitar muchas personas obligados por sistema, digamos, de tecnología, le crean una necesidad para traer dineros, entonces empieza a tumbar bosque, a tumbar, a vigar piedras, también empiezan como a excavar, y hay más de 200 títulos mineros. Las empresas mineras están solicitando con el gobierno para excavar, entonces ahí empiezan a sufrir, a calentarse más, en el corazón empiezan como a sufrir, entonces va más rápido en el mundo, a acelerar efectiva enfermedad. Entonces empecemos a buscar medicinas. ¿Cuál es medicina? Ser conscientes. ¿Cómo podemos defender? Porque ellos compraron esos terrenos para explotar. Entonces, no comprar el terreno, pero nosotros no pensemos comprar el dinero, sino salvar el sitio para que reubicar a la persona que no tiene esa educación, la persona que tiene el espíritu del pensamiento oscuro, empezar como darles esa claridad y reubicar para que esté el agua más tiempo, así sea 100 años de garantías, porque parte baja están los bosques que mantienen el nevado, los pisos térmicos. Cuando intervienen empieza a acelerarse esa energía negativa y calentamiento global. Entonces, una parte, quiero ser claro, que hay una montaña que es el espíritu del alimento del mundo, que es una montaña que se llama Viskungi. Porque el sabio nos dijo, cuando empiezan a intervenir esa montaña, va a empezar a desactivarse en diferentes montañas del mundo y va a haber una escasez de alimentos y van a empezar la humanidad a acelerar, a aumentar alimentos para que haya alimento, empieza a echar químicos sintéticos para que se dé rápido y empiecen a envenenarse en sí mismos. Empecemos entonces a salvar ese espíritu del alimento que hay en diferentes países y a la vez empecemos a trabajar sobre el alimento, a sembrar con esa conciencia en diferentes lugares. Primero, salvar ese espíritu que hay en esa montaña, que se llama Viskungi, más o menos tiene como 3.000 hectáreas. Para nosotros lo vemos como ese personaje como la vida de alimentos de los hermanitos que viven en diferentes países. Por eso nosotros no es tocarlos, sino entenderlos. Y allí arriba había agua, a intervenir, lo secaron, y ahí empezó a secarse muchísimos nacederos de agua y veranos, y empiezan a decir que hay un calentamiento global. Entonces debemos salvar ese lugar y empezar a ver qué tanto desarrollo hay para la humanidad, lo que es la vida natural. Entonces lo invitamos, empecemos a concientizarnos, a buscar medicina. ¿Cuál es medicina? O sea, reubicar a los campesinos. Y a la vez, cuando preguntaron qué significa nuestros usos que ven aquí, esto se necesita algo, o sea, a entender. Estos decirlos no solamente de uso como costumbre, sino eso es más allá. Cuando yo le dije tejer o vivir en la línea vertical, uno empezar de una luz. Y aquí es como el mundo físico. Y de parte de abajo el mundo ante una oscuridad. Por igual, cuando uno empieza a hacer obra, el sol viene del oriente y va alumbrando, iluminando hacia occidente. Por eso uno dice, este mundo es pequeño, es muy pequeño, en nuestra vida. Entonces, como tener este mundo en la mano, porque son dados del mundo oscuro, donde reinaba los fuegos.
Y bueno, vamos a decirlo de antes, después. Esta parte es muy complejo y importante y voy a traducirlo al mismo tiempo que él está diciéndolo. Y empezando, eso es representando el mundo. Right, yeah, he says, oh, we're testing if you're sleeping. Apparently someone is. Yeah, so we're going to go back to what was talked about earlier, but right now this part is really important, so I was going to, at the same time that he's talking and explaining these pieces, which is very in-depth to their culture that usually never gets shared with outside people. It's really amazing. This is a representation of the world for them. When someone asked about how to be living in the vertical line and what is the vertical line, when he's talking about the vertical line, he's talking about that. I don't want to call it a stick because that's very disrespectful. I feel like I say that. But halo. And sukula. Sure, it doesn't mean much to anybody else here. But it's not a stick, and it's a really powerful rod of wood. A wand. A wand, right. So this vertical thing is representing the sun. When he's holding it as if he's holding the world. That's why for them, this planet is really small. They can fit it in their hand. And when you think about it with your imagination or your third eye or your illuminated consciousness, when you're dreaming images, positive future, and you have the world in your hand, this vertical wooden piece is moving back and forth as if it is the sun. And they're spinning this cord to the right in the positive way that the earth spins. And the sun is illuminating and moving across the planet. So they are energetically connecting and cleaning the planet as what we might call a meditation. And they do that when they have moments. And also to create this movement, he's going to explain more, goes in depth to represent more aspects. So, bueno, hemos llegado hasta el sol.
Nosotros los símbolos no son solamente decir símbolos, que son conectados.
For us, symbols are not just symbols.
Cada cosa,
they are connected.
Tiene principios.
Every single symbol has its own principles, has its own bases. They have their own spaces and connections.
Porque nosotros somos parte de dos mundos.
Because we are part of two worlds.
Uno del mundo oscuro.
One from the dark world.
Este es un mundo físico y neutro.
Like the neutral physical world.
Mundo, digamos, la energía energética de una luz.
And the other one is, as we would say, like the energetic energy of light.
Entonces nosotros es para operar con energía positiva, energética de una luz a este mundo físico.
For us, it is to operate in a way that allows us to be in positivity, as if connected with light shining down onto this world in the dark.
Si uno opera con energía energética del espíritu negativo, del puro fuego, del mundo oscuro, en este mundo físico uno no ve, ni escucha, ni analiza la consecuencia que puede venir a largo plazo.
If you're operating in a relationship with the dark world, with fire, in the negativity, one is operating without the ability to see or hear or sense. In reality, they're blind and ignorant to what it is that the consequences are to their actions.
Por igual, le digo que tenemos que volar muy alto para ver el mundo, no es para que el mundo nos vea a nosotros.
And in that sense, since the world is small, we need to fly high and see the world so that we can see the world. That is part of our job, not so that the world is seeing us, like, yeah, look, the world is seeing us, but really having a perspective to take care.
Le vuelvo y le repito, esta nación del mundo oscuro está bien desarrollado, bien constituido, está bien reglamentado y es un paraíso.
So then I am going to repeat that this nation, this world that we live in, is very well constituted, very well arranged, and very well developed. It is a paradise.
Por igual, nosotros aquí estamos para entendernos, saber entendernos.
And for us, all of us, we are all here to understand each other, to know how to understand each other.
Todo es posible para entendernos, pero tenemos que tener conciencia y tenemos que pensar con mentes frías, no con gente con idea de fuego.
Everything is possible, and everything is possible for us to understand these things. But we must operate with consciousness in order to do that. And we must operate with a cold mind, not a mind filled with fire.
Entonces, la más importante de conectar es primero en diálogos,
The first,
alimentarnos en diálogos, porque estas son las palabras vivas.
and most important way for us to connect and to start understanding each other is to, they use a word called element, to element each other, to nourish each other with energy through dialogue. Because the way that we use words in dialogue, it gives life to others when you use words that are living.
Por igual yo le doy agradecimiento por lo que tienen los hermanos. Por eso muchos amigos, hermanos, nosotros le decimos hermanitos porque les gustan trabajar con puros juegos, construir con juegos. Todos lo hacen con juegos. Por eso le decimos hermanitos. Cuando uno lo dejan con unos hermanitos en la casa, los hermanitos empiezan como a prender con fósforos, con puros juegos. Empiezan como a excavar. Cuando se quema, le echan culpa al hermano. ¿Qué estaba haciendo? Hay que cuidar a los hermanitos. Entonces, por igual, en el corazón del mundo estamos con ese pensamiento, con ese espíritu, que los hermanitos no se quemaran. Empiezan a concientizarse. Por eso yo le digo, bienvenidos, que ustedes vinieron en un cóndor de lata hecho con fuego.
Well, I would like to give thanks to those that have come here. From our world, we call them little brothers, because the people that like to work with fire, they're like little brothers. There's 4 elements that you can work with, but the little brothers have taken fire and only fire, and they love fire. And just like in a house, you can imagine a young little brother growing up, starts playing with matches, and playing with the stove and different things, and gets magnetized to the fire, and then goes and touches the fire and gets burnt. But then the blame gets given to the elder brother. He's like, hey, how could you let the little brother get burnt? So in the same sense, that's what we live with our consciousness in the heart of the world. We are given as elder brothers. We take that responsibility, and that is why we're here, because we want to be able to share that consciousness and help grow and responsibly care for our little brothers and make sure that they don't burn themselves.
Al igual le doy agradecimientos a ustedes por lo que sus ancestros de mucho tiempo también hicieron para que nos encontremos con diferentes hermanitos del país, y también vine en ella. Me siento bastante agradecido por lo que estamos compartiendo.
I would also like to give thanks to everybody for being here and sharing with us. And I apologize, but I missed a small part of the message.
O sea, me siento agradecido por los mayores, mis 7 ancestros, porque de ahora no tenemos la culpa. Nosotros decimos cuando abuelo, entendemos que nuestro abuelo nos hizo un camino, si es bien o mal, pero nosotros lo hicimos abuelo. Pero nuestro Padre Supremo lo hizo bien, pero nuestro abuelo lo conduce a otro lado, entonces uno no tiene la culpa. Pero es suficiente de entenderlo, y a la vez, como ya estamos acá, también yo creo que uno de alguna otra forma nos hizo bien para empezar a construir, sembrar esta conciencia. Como digo, también viene el cóndor de lata. Bueno, esa herramienta es muy necesaria para construir al mundo natural.
Going back to part of the last message that wasn't communicated, he at the end said, so thank you, little brothers and sisters, for coming here and showing up in a tin can condor powered by fire so that you can land here to share this physical space with each other. That's what they call an airplane, a tin can condor. In that sense, we'd like to thank everyone's ancestors and elders. Some of us can feel that maybe our parents might not have done the best for the planet, or the world, or our lives. Or maybe our grandfathers and grandmothers, at some point there might have been a path that has led us to something that we don't align with. But before that, our ancestors lived a life that has brought us to this moment and brought us all together in this space, and has given life to each one of you, where you feel empowered and connected to regeneration and nature. So in that sense, I want to give thanks to our ancestors, and to give the message to you all that it's not your fault at all for anything that has happened up until this moment. Everything that we were born into was done by others. And now we have the opportunity to be grateful for the ancestors that brought us here, that got us to this moment, because it seems that they must have done something right in order to get us all here to be able to work together towards this positive future and to have hope in being on this mission.
Bueno, la importancia de, bueno, ya es dicho que el futuro está, los jóvenes dependemos para el futuro. Y es muy importante aprender, convivir con la naturaleza y conservar, más no cambiar, que es lo más importante. Para los jóvenes de mi edad, los que apenas están creciendo, los que van a nacer, muchos jóvenes se basan mucho en teoría, digamos, en tecnología, aprenden libros, internet, sabe cómo funciona la naturaleza, pero más no lo pone en práctica, es como, da igual. Y a lo que yo invito es a invitar a la Sierra Nevada, que es Nibiumeque, nuestra lengua, es allá el corazón del mundo donde podemos enseñar, compartir la sabiduría y la importancia que es la naturaleza a todos los jóvenes de América Latina y de otro continente. Y nuestra meta es tener la naturaleza equilibrado y en armonía con nosotros. Ese es nuestro deber. Eso.
It is very important that we learn to co-live with nature. We are nature. And I invite the young people to come to the heart of the world. Right now, in the ways that we're shown, young people have access to many things. They have lots of technologies, they have the internet, they have books. There's many ways to learn. Even better said, many young people already know how nature works, but there's not many ways to put that in practice. Most of it is theory, and in a lot of those ways, those theories are wrong. But what we would like to do is invite young people from Latin America and other countries to come in the heart of the world and to learn through practice, to learn through the motions of embodiment, so that there is a path to be able to use this knowledge and to learn much more of what is from the universal codes that are saved here in the heart.
También, sin la naturaleza no es posible vivir, porque nosotros dependemos de la naturaleza. Si ellos no existen, nosotros no tenemos vida. Y eso hace referencia a que es muy importante saber convivir y cuidar con ellos.
And with that said, it's extremely important to learn how to live with nature, because without nature, we cannot live. It's not possible. We are nature, we live with nature, and nature provides for us. The only way that we can continue living is to live with nature, to co-live and take care of nature.
Y no solamente en la sierra, sino a todo nivel mundial.
And not just
los océanos, mar, islas, montañas, valles, todos. La naturaleza es uno solo.
And not just
la vida también. Y me considero que somos parte de la naturaleza, somos la naturaleza, la vida es uno solo. Eso. Gracias.
And it's not just the Sierra Nevada, not just the heart of the world. That is a place where we're inviting you to learn these things and become part of this, to connect and have consciousness of what is, because life, all life is one life. We're all part of that one life. We are all that one life. And that one life is nature. So we have to take care of nature. Not just in the Sierra, but in the islands, in the oceans, in the seas, all over the planet. Because all of life is one life. All of the planet is one. All of us are one life.
I have a question. Where do the people sleep when they come for visit? I mean, where do they stay?
Like us coming to visit?
Yeah, when we go, where do the people stay?
Dicen ella que tiene una pregunta. Bueno, cuando la gente viene, cuando los jóvenes vienen, cuando nosotros vengamos, ¿dónde vamos a dormir? ¿Dónde la gente queda para que puedan participar en esto?
Buena pregunta.
If we all come.
Eso es, como dijo el padre, queremos ampliar la sierra a 1000 hectáreas para fortalecer ese conocimiento con ustedes, con los jóvenes. Eso. Ampliar el espacio no solamente para nosotros, porque es fortalecer a la naturaleza, nosotros mismos también, el conocimiento. Y porque en la naturaleza podemos, es todo, vida, podemos dormir, convivir con ella. Solo se necesita comprender, entenderla. Es eso. Y eso es como queremos ampliar 1000 hectáreas más.
Well, whoever wants to come, we can figure that out. So, if anybody here wants to come, talk to Sun Nation. We'll make sure someone has a place to stay if they have the call from their inner being to go and really experience this. The answer, more than just that, as we get more than 30 people, more than 100 people, is to have this 1,000-hectare area, which is the next project that we're starting. After this Biscungui mountain, which is the part that I still have to translate, that we left behind before we started talking about the gourd. The next aspect is this 1,000 acres. And there is, in the plan, to put together there's a university type of academy. It's called the Earth Stewardship Academy. It has their elders coming, teaching, experiencing what it is to really live. Because we're talking about something that's very complex. It's extremely simple, but the way that we've been taught in our world, it becomes complex. To really live the life, which is why they want us to not be so married to theory. Once you start living the practice, your consciousness, your being, your law of attraction, your ability to manifest, your alignment, your clarity and vision, your force, all of those things that we practice as spiritual people, all of that becomes living. All of a sudden you're living it. And as you're taking the time, if you come for 2 weeks, or you come for a month, or you come for 3 months in the harmonization center, where there's spaces to stay, where there's fires, where there's food provided, where there's lessons learned about sharing around this, where there's others from different societies and cultures coming together to exchange what they understood. When there's this level of being together as a collective consciousness, an individual person all of a sudden becomes very connected and much different. The universe, life becomes much different. You're no longer having to go to the coffee shop before you go to work, and you don't have to go get your hair cut, and you don't, there's all these things that get put into our life that we accidentally, as conscious beings, we're investing our energy into those same systems. And when those systems are brought out, displaced for a little bit, and you can come to a space that he's inviting, life becomes very different, very simple, and nature provides everything that we need. It just has to be organized. One aspect that they keep bringing up is that there's a phrase in English that says, oh, we want to change the world. They said, if we were to change the world, everyone would die. Everything would be out of order. We can't change the world. What we have to do is understand it. What we have to do is connect to what already is, which is why they're very focused on conservation. Because conserving these spaces allows us to have the freedom to go to them. It allows us to displace ourselves from the lives that we've actually accidentally built around us, thinking that we need those things, thinking that we have to have money to do whatever it is we're doing. That lifestyle that we're supporting, that we're investing into, it becomes something totally different when we have the freedom and the guidance of others that can help us understand what nature even is. In that sense, this area with an Earth Stewardship Academy, with a harmonization center, with 1,000 hectares, which is like almost 3,000 acres. It's a lot of area to learn about insects and birds and be fed food in abundant ways, and agroforestry, all the things that we see as like the pioneering topics in our books that we're just now inventing. They've already lived that for a very long time, and it's way better than what we're inventing on accident or thinking that we know what we're doing. So in that sense, there's this cultural difference, trying to change the world, trying to conserve what already is, trying to showcase what already is, where we're trying to come up with solutions for the destruction that we've created on accident. And there's this little gap in between, which is why it's really important to be able to take some time outside of the life that we are living, no matter what kind it is, to just give a try to see what it is, that what can be with nature. In that sense, there's one more aspect that I'd like to go back to and revisit before we close up. There's some food coming that we're going to share, as I'm sure might be interesting for some people. But this Biscungui mountain, Bungwanimako had talked about it earlier, and then he started showing how the little world and the sun works, and how active meditation and universal magic can be used in order to create a better future for everyone. Biscungui mountain, someone asked, how can we participate now? And this mountain, as they were explaining previously, the heart of the world, all of the different species that come to it. Imagine an energetic line, like a corral or a front yard or something. All of these different beings cross across this barrier, this energetic barrier, and they come in to a different dimension of reality. It's a different vibration. It is like the meeting place of spirits. Their physical vessels come there, but unimaginable for us, unimaginable energetic experiences are taking place when these different species, just like these ones all around us, are landing in this area. When that happens, they're completing a function. Us as humans, we have the ability to be, as they say, one more element of nature. We have the ability to take care of what exists. We have the ability to have hands and create action. We can accidentally create destruction. In that, we have the responsibility, as Bumpani Mako mentioned before, just as we have the responsibility to take care of our body that was given to us, we also have the responsibility to take care of our planet that was given to us. It's a direct relationship. When you get to a level of consciousness where you feel that you are connected to nature, that you are one, that you are with the universe, then it's only natural that your body, which is an earthen representation of your spirit, is connected to the earthen representation of spirit. In that sense, they say, okay, if you're going to take care of your body, if you feel responsible to take care of your body, then we also need to go one step further and feel responsible for taking care of our body, the earth. So all of these beings going across this energetic barrier and coming in to this earth, this heart, doing a lot of this energetic spiritual work, they're coming in and completing functions. All of the mountains, as was said earlier, in the heart of the planet, they also have very specific functions. And these beings that come in, they don't all go to the same place, they don't all hang out on the beach, they don't all go get cocktails, they don't all go into the forest. They all go to very specific places. Specific colored birds go to that mountain. Whales go to that part. Turtles go to this thing. Some of them go to different ones. And there's all of this action happening in harmony. And if you spend enough time, years and years like the Mamoda has, to just sit and look and learn and understand and not try to change the world, you can easily start to see that these patterns happen and that each one of these beings has a function. You can say, oh, those bees always go to that flower at this time of the year. That's weird. And that happens over and over again. In that same sense, this mountain has an extremely important function, as each mountain has an important function. Inside the black line, this is going to be finished soon. Inside the black line, these mountains, there's a saying in their culture that everything inside the black line, which is what energetically defines the heart of the planet, every one of those mountains is, like, if a mountain is small inside the heart, it's big on the outside of the heart. And vice versa. If it's big on the outside, it's small on the inside. In that sense, there's these connections. And all of these beings are part of those connections. This specific mountain is identified by them as one of the most important conservation projects on the entire of the Black Line. So all of the food that we connect to in our physical world is governed by this spiritual being that is a mountain. On that mountain, it's been taken over by farmers and coffee and clear cuts. It's been just poisoned with chemicals because the people are monetary system living in it. Then we start to use fertilizers and chemicals. So accidentally, ignorantly, blindedly, we're poisoning ourselves by putting that on our food because we need our food to grow faster because we're getting less food. All of that is happening all over the world. And they say the reason for that happening is because it's happening on this mountain right now. It's mostly connected to coffee, because so many people around the world are drinking coffee, and this area is good for coffee. Farmers move in, they clear cut entire forests, and they plant coffee. So it's really, really important, and he was talking about it. He extended those aspects, and we have a small video to show about the importance of Biscumwi that people can share, and that's one small part that we're putting together. The next aspect is the 1,000-acre Green Nation seed that everybody can be a part of, that everybody can tell their friends about, and that everybody can come visit and help construct together.
Yeah.
I also want to share that we're developing a Regen agent program where we're going to, with this 1,000 hectares with the Earth Stewardship Academy,
there's going to be a sector of that where we're going to have programs that go to Biscumbi Mountain and do hands-on physical regeneration, learning in the practice, in the physical, planting, learning about the harmonization of the nature, how it all functions in the practice while we're regenerating with them as our guides. So that's attached to our Stewardship Academy and Regen Agent program that's developing. And so that's going to be future opportunities.
Sí, okay. So we're going to show the Biscumbi video. We're going to just... We're going to move the TV back in front and put the table. To everyone. Awesome. And now we're also going to be, Sun Nation is going to sponsor some food and things for people to share in, so we can have a social after and experience what needs to be experienced, see what connections we can come up with, what hearts we want to be heard, and Mandeep is going to talk with them after as well, so that we're on radio to them.
What I want to do is to sit down with Diam and Faith and to tell us their story and how they reached the mountain, because I think it's just really important. And that inspiration to me means a lot, even though I'm so honored for this blessing that they have brought us. But their journey should be sort of talked about in a short little talk. I think it's important for us to be inspired by the likes of leaving our nurture. Two roads diverged in the yellow wood, and these guys have traveled far and wide. Thank you for joining us. Hear the love. Thank you so much to Green Nation and all that you do. Thank you.
Thanks for translating. Thank you.
Thank you.
So much. I also want to mention here we have a contact volunteer sign-up sheet if you're interested in following along on the development of the projects. If you want to be directly related, this is how you can get in contact with us. And so sign up here. Also, over here on this table we have coffee directly from the tribe, it is grown organically. All of like the highest level keywords of what you would want in a coffee, like high elevation, shade grown, organic, grown with the moon and the stars, and it's here in this bag, and it's here for purchase over here on this table. Also we have mochilas or tutus for purchase, and all of these are hand woven with llama that come from the sheep from the high mountains that their families tend to care for.
Every color comes from a different sheep. They have to manage those sheep. They have to make sure that they continue living. They have to find the right amount of food. They can only make certain colors. If they don't have this, it's like a whole life, and it takes months to make some of these bags. Each symbol means a certain thing. Those symbols, if you want to get real deep into it, they have energetic properties because they're a certain shape and a certain color that emanates out, and it's all blessed. Everyone, as the men are doing this to bless the world, the women are weaving, and it's their meditation daily to make world peace. They weave that into every aspect, every thread, and all of these bags are brought by some of their highest elders in order to bring resources back, money back to help continue building this vision.
I just want to put a little bit of an image in your mind about the women who are weaving these bags. If they're in these houses of earth around the fire, the children around, the mothers are caring for the babies, and sharing their language of Iku, which is the language of the mountains, is constantly being spoken as they're weaving these beautifully woven bags with the keys of nature and consciousness. And it's all the vibration of the bag. So they go very deep, and they're very sacred and very special, and it's very intentional.
Yes. Here we are. All right, so now to the conservation Biscungui video. First time ever showed to anybody.
Biscungui era o es sitio sagrado que es madre de la comida, no solamente de este territorio, es del mundo, donde se están creando los alimentos. También tienes una planta, un árbol que es muy importante, sagrado, que se llama cahuino. Y al tumbar toda esa montaña se está secando el árbol. También está un árbol que es medicina, que se llama quina. Y todo eso se está secando desde que se secó la laguna. Y esa laguna era la cabeza principal, porque está otro sitio que se llama Tamoya, otro sitio Pecho Palomo, otro sitio Penagungurua, está otro sitio Alto Corazón, que todo tenía laguna, y apenas acercarse allá, toda esa laguna se desaparecieron. Y el año 2015 hubo una disminución de agua, hubo mucha quebrada que está sin agua ya, y nosotros eso nos preocupa para la nueva generación, que vamos a quedar sin líquido, que es vital para la humanidad.
When they put down their fertilizers and their root stimulants, these chemicals, every time it rains, goes into these springs here. There's multiple ravines, 1, 2, 3, 4. All of this is damaged forests. As they deteriorate, the mountain loses its spiritual properties and its energetic connection to the world. Farmers are coming in and doing this unknowingly, and it's inherently affecting our world on the outside of the black line. So we have a communication tower, clear-cutting forests, poisoning of the land with chemicals, burning all the land as it's cleared every year, coffee being put everywhere, and no real food production on the mountain either. All of this combined is creating a very chaotic and bad situation for the mountain itself, for the energy here, and especially for the energetic representation that it has outside of the black line for our world.
Y para el mundo, porque este es un pico muy alto que va repartiendo agua. Tiene muchas cuencas que va a repartir agua. Ahí a la laguna, o donde estaba la laguna, después lo saquearon, y ahí como cobardes, y ahí sacaron como la madre que cuidaba la laguna, y se llevaron con el sello de ese sitio. Y eso fue los grupos armados. Y entonces ahora para recuperar eso, los mamos han dicho, sí se puede, pero ¿cómo? Que esos predios, ¿por qué lo necesitamos? Para recuperar eso, volverlo montando otra vez. Y nosotros, como no tenemos el dinero,
porque los dueños de los predios, para que los dejen, necesitamos plata para comprar los predios. Por eso necesitamos apoyo, no solamente apoyo como persona, apoyo como para el sitio Viscuri, para los cuantos clases de aves, de animales que existen desde que se creó el mundo o se creó la montaña, que ellos trabajan conjuntos, que le canta al agua, que le canta a la comida, que le canta a la montaña. Entonces queremos defender eso por eso. Gracias.
Shout out to Rodrigo Park, that is our amazing marketing badass. He put all of the videos together. He's recorded everything. Yes. He's traveled around with us. We've bootstrapped everything to figure out how to pay for things and to get all the content to put together and make this experience happen. So concluding that video, the project is to buy an entire mountain, which is like $6.6 million. It's actually not that much for 6,000 acres. But yeah, for the entire food source of humanity, it's really small. But the first project to showcase that we can actually execute and do something is to get $96,000 together to buy the most important piece on the top of the mountain. This mountain that has is in charge of all of the food. 20 years ago or so, a company came in and illegally, during a war, illegally placed a telecommunications tower on top of it. A small one that once we buy the land, we can knock it down and recycle it. And that entire property 2 years ago got clear cut, and now it has little plantings of coffee on it. All of this illegal because somebody abandoned the land. And it's been poisoned by fertilizers and chemicals. So this one piece on the very top, somehow by the magic of spiritual paths, has this endangered tree where it's the last place on the mountain that this endangered tree lives. And it has this communications tower that energetically is heating up the entire mountain. It's right next to a little pond that has now been dried up over the last 20 years because the armed forces during the war, there used to be a big piece of gold, really beautiful big piece of gold in the river, or in the lake. It's a special, amazing thing. Apparently that's how stuff used to work before our ancestors went out and just took all the shiny things and stole them. They used to actually have functions. So these people say that this big golden thing was the seal of this pond that allowed this whole mountain to have an energetic function. So a bunch of people with guns came in and they were camped there. They used to have mamas, a whole group of mamas on that mountain protecting and working with that pond because it connects to the entire world. One day, a bunch of armed military people, paramilitary, came up and forced all of the mamas to go away, and they set up a camp on top. There, they dug a little trench so that the river or the pond could be used to wash their stuff. They dug the trench, it started making the water leak out as they used it. Over time, it got more dry. Eventually it got dry enough that they're like, oh my gosh, there's a giant piece of gold in there. And then they went in and they took it. And the mamos were there and said, no, you can't take that, it's really important, all this stuff. But they have really big guns. And they tried to stop that, and it didn't work. That got taken, now the lake is dry, and then someone else built this tower, so it's heating up and heating up and heating up. The whole point of this is to be able to put enough funds together to buy that one very strategic piece of property as fast as possible so that it can start being regenerated, the tower can be taken away, and the mamos can go back. They say there's a way to make the pond to come back so that it can function again. So that's the Biskunwi project, and we hope anybody can communicate it to their friends and family, and we can have some support.
All right. Wow. Thank you so much.
Excuse me.
Leo?
Yeah, you can. He said, is there a page? You can get one of these. There's a QR code on it, and it goes to one of our donation platform campaigns, and you can give $1, $5, $10,000, whatever you want to put towards it. You can send it to your friends as a link, and there's a video on it. There's a whole description. So it's a functioning campaign that people can go look at, and please, if it resonates with you, share it with others.
One more round of applause. Thank you so much for the elders for being here. Faith, I'd like to invite you up if possible. All right, Kelsey, come on up. So welcome home, everybody. Welcome to Radio Tulum. I'm just so profoundly touched and honored, of course, from all the knowledge we've received, connected to so much time. When things are connected to time, there's a resonance that can echo into the future. And as I said, I really would like to talk about the two humans who chose to walk, take a plane, whatever they did, to walk away from their life and go exploring, to go find this knowledge and this wisdom for themselves first, and then bring it to us. And I think it's always important to share these human stories, these human inspirations that lead us away from the prison we have built for ourselves, of which we are the guards. And we really love the books we put on the shelves and the photographs we pasted on the walls. So if I had a seed for every one of you, I would say, here, go plant a tree somewhere and walk the earth. So please come on up, Kelsey and Dion, and let's tell us a little bit about your story.
And also, for those that want to stay, they'd like to have a group photo with everybody who's here, if that's interesting. Group
Just
photo.
Quick 15-minute talk.
We'll do a little 15-minute talk. There's, what are they called? Samosas being distributed for people. There's,
we can all go on the stage and I take the photo afterwards.
okay, there's juice coming, and then we can all go on stage, and Anna's going to take a picture for everyone. Entonces,
Thank you, Anna.
Vamos a hablar 15 minutos sobre la historia de nosotros. Ya hay algunas comidas que vienen para la gente, hay jugos, y después todos van a ir aquí para ella tomar una foto para nosotros.
All right, welcome home, Radio Tulum Nation, all the people out there in the frequency that are listening in, and all of these great people that have been here. Again, it's just so blessed. And so thankful to both of you for taking the path and the walk. So tell me a little bit about where you are of, and where did you grow up, and what led you away?
name is Kelsey Faith, and my body was born in Michigan, in the United States. From a very young age, I knew that the world that I was living in my little small farm town, cows and cornfields, I knew that it wasn't the kind of life I wanted to live. So I was introduced by some foreign exchange students that there's other parts of the world. And as a young 17-year-old, ambitious to see the world, I worked and I paid my way to visit Europe. And once I visited Europe and I got away from the United States, I knew that I wanted to see more of the world. So as soon as I finished high school, I packed my backpack and I flew across the world by myself, and I said goodbye to Michigan and all of my family and all of my friends. Even with the world, everyone telling me how dangerous the world was, as a solo woman going out to the world by herself, it was a very bad idea. For me, it was the best thing I ever did. And I learned so much, and I continued exploring. I went to different countries, different communities, and got introduced to indigenous cultures in Australia, in Asia, and I got to sit and listen to stories. At the pandemic, I went back to the United States. I got a van for freedom. I traveled around the United States in my van, hearing also about the indigenous tribes in the United States and having more curiosity for the truth. And then I moved to Phoenix, Arizona. I met this person who told me his story. And his story inspired me so much that I said I had to go. I had to go see it. I was like,
Good segue. We come back to what happened next. Let's hear his story.
Hey, it's a good segue. My story. Similarly, my name is Diam Weskesan. I was actually given that name when I got adopted by a native tribe before backing up to a similar space so that we can give context to what Kelsey Faith was saying.
In America or where?
Yeah, real quick. It was in Nicaragua, actually. But as a child, my parents were entrepreneurs and living in the United States. I was born in Arizona, and I was given privileges from a family that learned how the system functioned, and they were good at manifesting and figuring out how to operate so that we didn't have to worry about much. We always had enough money. My parents retired early because my dad was a badass business guy, and they decided to move to a farm out in the country. So when I was a kid, I went from one of the richest towns in the state to the country, and they wanted us as humans to experience what it's like to be in nature. So I lived there for some years. Eventually, my parents said that I was gifted, and the systems said my IQ was high. I was in front of the different children, and I was bored in school. All the systems didn't work for me. So my parents said, "Oh, we got to take you back to the city. We got to give you school so that you can go to university, so that you can learn and do all these things that you want to do." So I fell in love with nature for some years. We lived on an orchard. We had a peach farm. We went hiking every day. And then I moved back to the city. I hated school. It was boring. When I moved back there, I was a year ahead, because the rural school that we went to, we actually had professors who cared, and they were like, oh, we're gonna teach you cool things, and oh, you're smart, let's give you a special project, and that whole cultivation. Once I moved back to the city, I was a year ahead, and it was really not fun. And I always got in trouble. I was too smart for my own good. Eventually, I dropped out. I asked my parents if I could drop out of high school. I dropped out when I was 15. I took a year. I told my parents I was gonna study and pass the GED. It's a test in the United States that allows you to have a degree, or a diploma, so you can go to university. So instead of studying, I spent a year playing video games with my friend that we both dropped out together. We were both going to take the GED together. Fast forward, he did really great. He went to university. I went to university, studied technology. Eventually, I decided that the systems weren't cool. I didn't like them, didn't fit in anywhere. And when I was like 21, I met a girl. She invited me to Nicaragua. From that point, I met some magical people. They owned hostels. They were part of a tribe from the north. They moved there to share their knowledge and vision of cosmology and indigenous wisdoms. They got kicked out of Canada because of the Rocky Mountain police and getting their villages burnt down and getting their children taken into the orphanages. The whole colonization thing happened. So they decided they wanted to go to Nicaragua, where they had, thousands of years ago, they had connections to that. They used to take boats and canoes all the way down the coast. So they wanted to relive that and try to get there.
Wow.
Yeah. So I spent 5 years there. After 1 year, I told them I wanted to be adopted into their tribe. I gave all my money away. I gave it all to them. And I had no interest to go back to the States. I had no way to, and I was fully involved in this. So I went through all the processes. I got spiritually adopted, physically adopted. I got connected to everything. They gave me necklaces. I had to go through ceremonies, and finally I got the name Diambo Estesan. Eventually, our biggest elder passed away, the one I was studying with, and things fell into chaos because the tribe was very small. They were losing their identity, and now some of the most important elders died. So two, actually. So I ended up moving back to the States, figuring out what to do with my entrepreneurial family, started a coffee company with my brother, and then met Kelsey Faith in Phoenix, Arizona.
And then Kelsey Faith came into your life. Go ahead and tell us the story and what happens when the two worlds collide. Of him being in Nicaragua, you having your van parked outside somewhere, having traveled the grand and beautiful, actually. America is a beautiful country, not, what's the great Leonard Cohen line? I love the country, but I can't stand the scene. Anyway, so what happened? Your van's parked outside. I don't know, Diam's holding a couple of coffee bags. What happens?
Well, you missed the whole part about him going to Colombia. Yeah, tell that.
Time.
Yeah, tell the part.
Right.
This is a different tribe.
Okay, I did go to Colombia. Yeah. All right. So Nicaragua back to the United States. Started a coffee company with my brother. We started a coffee and taco shop in Colorado. It became really famous because it was right next to Telluride, which is a big tourist place. We had the best food. We were innovative and cool. We had the coolest music, the brightest colors. Everything was neat. So all the rich people from Telluride would come down. We got investors. They wanted to make 16 stores. It was going to be great.
And how did you get to Colombia? What happened? I mean, obviously you had this blood of entrepreneurship.
Right.
I mean, just to make the choice from Nicaragua back to the States, you fall into your family and the same ways. And then what leads you away?
That led me away. An investor who wants to make 16 stores. I'm like, oh my God, wait, no, we made one. Yeah, how can I manage 16? We can barely operate one. So I decided, I took a quick look and realized that I felt like I was doing more stuff to hold everything together, and I don't want to have 16 stores. So I decided I wanted to do what I really wanted to do, which was to make a tech company. I went to school for that. I always wanted to make a tech company and make my own ideas. So I thought, I'm gonna go to Colombia. I searched all around the world. Where's the best technology? Where's the best talent? Where's the cheapest labor force? Where's the place that I can speak the language? Where can I live in paradise? Well, all this cool stuff.
It's all the same kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
So I'm very curious, what happens?
Well, somehow some synchronicity happened in the universe.
As it always does.
Right. And the tribe that I got adopted by, a lot of them had left Nicaragua because there was...
They're falling apart.
Right. And everybody had to figure out how to live in a colonized world. They got jobs, some went to universities, different things. 3 years later, as an anniversary, to figure out, like, what are we going to do as a tribe before everything is totally gone? How can we save our identity and our traditions? How can we pass that on? They said, okay, let's reunite and have a meeting. We'll have a council and figure out what to do. One of the elders has a nonprofit that plants trees around the planet with schools. And he said, oh, hey, I've been wanting to look around in Colombia to see where we could do that. I said, I want to start a tech company there. I'm already going there. So we all aligned, we all made a plan, we all met there. It just so happened to be in the mountains of the Arhuacos in Minca. And we spent 2 weeks there. Myself, I've been training a lot with the spiritual aspects of the vision of indigenous society. That's what I was really interested in. And with the elders, I always asked them to teach me the magic. And so we had a week and a half of ceremony, and every morning I cleaned the room for the ceremony with Palo Santo. I said the prayers. I channeled the messages of, well, all right, let's make the space what we need to bring the solutions for our tribe, to figure out what we're doing, where we're going, and we need elder brothers to guide us. Don't know why I said that, but every day I said that at 3:30 in the morning, and then all of a sudden, after a week and a half, this man, Bunkpanimaku, was standing outside of our cabin that we rented in this mountain, and he said, hey, I think I'm supposed to talk to you.
Wow. Okay.
So after that...
did you abandon the tech company right away, or what?
I mean, it's somehow still blockchain making governments, but... yeah.
So he knocks on the door, and what happens?
I was like, I've never seen a person dressed in all white with a hat that looks super serious in nature and is like an embodiment of a badass. What is this being in front of me, you know? So I walk outside and I talk to him, like sketchy, scared a little bit, like, hey, what are you doing here?
He can be intimidating.
Yeah. He says, oh, well.
It's funny as hell.
Supremely.
Super funny, I know.
Funniest person I've met. So he says, well, yeah, I think I'm supposed to talk to you. So we were building a garden in the back of the house. The way the indigenous build gardens, at least these ones, is they make a sacred geometry with stones and stuff, and it builds a whole energetic thing. It's a functioning system. And from far away, he looks like, oh, there's a star. And there's no way an untrained eye can see anything other than plants. So I said, oh yeah, that's what we build. And he says, oh, okay, I think we're supposed to talk. Eventually, long story short, turns in, he says, oh, you're part of a prophecy, I think. I think I need to take you back to my village. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to your village. I don't know who you are. You just showed up here. I'm with my village. He's like, well, you got to come. This is important. So we talked. Eventually, I said, I'm only going if I can bring my elders. He said, you can't bring your elders. This whole thing, like, we had to go through it. We went through a big experience. They cleaned our energies. They brought down their leader, like mamos, to come talk to us. A lot of things unfolded. And eventually, we started having a relationship of helping them. And then the pandemic hit. We did projects. I funded projects from them far away, and like bought him a horse so he could go visit other wise men. I helped build a language school, and did different projects. We built a way to make sugar cane and like different stuff.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So then that ended up. Pandemic hit. I was
And you went
in
back
the
to the
States.
States, yeah.
I couldn't be with them during the whole pandemic.
And hence enters Kelsey Faith. Pulls up in her van.
Literally.
We actually met in the back alleyway of downtown Phoenix.
We did on a Saturday morning.
He was selling, or no, he was giving out coffee samples with his brother. And they had coffee together. I was like, I had just moved to Phoenix. Like, you got a job for me in coffee?
Yeah, she was with her best friend.
Ended up, he didn't have any job opportunities at that time. But then we ended up seeing each other over at different events around the city the next year. And finally, enough conversation came about, and he started telling me about these indigenous tribes he was living with. In my whole being, I knew that this was the way to live. And I had never heard anyone speak it into words before. And so I said, I have to go. We have to go. Let's go. So we quit our lives.
Amazing. Amazing. No, really. I mean, how much courage it takes to quit your life, you know. It's really an inspiration. Anybody I meet who quits their life this is why I want to say, quit your life. Sorry. My God. And the man.
No.
Your dog, man. I'm sorry. You quit your life.
Right. Yeah,
Both quit your life.
we both had our lives going. We're both community builders, community developers, run events around the city, conscious events, bringing people together, trying to make a conscious God. He had his world, I had my world, and one moment we decided that we were both going to leave and go to Colombia to visit this man who spoke of, this mystical man who spoke of that healing in the forest.
Yeah, right when the pandemic dropped and you were able to travel again, we were like, okay, we gotta go tune in. Arizona was in a crazy drought. The whole city, all the spiritual people who were like, yeah, we're gonna live in heaven on earth. The Colorado River was drying up, the dams were breaking, it was super fear-driven reality. So he said, okay, the only thing we can do is go tap into our highest level of leadership that we have. And it's a perfect time for Kelsey Faith to come vet and understand if this is some part of her reality. So we went down first to Nicaragua to meet the elders that I was adopted by, to progress, and then go to Colombia to introduce the Awaki.
Oh, what an amazing story. And we've heard the rest. You guys have totally immersed yourself inside what you envisioned for your life, which is a really important inspiration. Tell me, through this last couple of years, as you heard profoundly about the indigenous, not just of Nicaragua, of Colombia, these great men, but also of Nicaragua. What is the thing that has enlightened you the most? Aside from the work that you put in to sacrifice your own self, what is the most human thing that you think about sometimes that has enlightened this path? Is that a hard question? Whatever you want to use as enlightened, whatever fills your heart.
Well, I have to give a big shout out to culture. The thing that's driven me the most to want to become has been Well, first off, somehow I have this innate interest in me to become an example of what can be done on the planet. I want to be that. I want to have fun doing that. And the things that have got me hope and brought me forward through that have been aspects of culture. Two really big things. First, anime. Japanese culture, transmitting the messages of what's possible through magic and humanity. Different aspects of anime have brought me really, given me a lot of hope within myself to continue becoming who I want to become. And the indigenous people have been the only people who have embodied a higher level of reality in the physical that I've seen and I've witnessed. And music has been extremely important to help me self-propel towards that envisioned reality, to walk myself into an embodiment that feels worth it. And so that the enlightening aspect, what brings me the most of that, as I've gone through it, building different spiritual communities and bridging with different conscious people, the aspect of now getting to a level of understanding the Arhuacos have shown me what nature is, and that now is the biggest propel ever, right? The birds, the connection, the reality, the sounds, how it all functions and how it feels within oneself. To be aware of that is so propelling, so amazing.
To be a part of it, right? Like you are a part of it. I think one of the elders said, you have to live it. You just have to be it. You know, everything else is talk. You know, you just have to become it, and it's very easy if you just cross the line. It's really all inside of you, those answers, and you just have to feel them and see them. Kelsey, what about you? Yeah, I mean, just the thing that inspires you about this choice, this leaving your cat, and what is enlightened, and you know, what has come of it, in the sense that as you 2 years into the journey, what is the most, not the most, but just something that you are enlightened by, or in awe of, or the beauty of some moment?
For me, what keeps me inspired on this journey is to awaken, give an example, be an example to awaken others to the possibility of what exists. One of my missions throughout my travels and now on this journey, as I have found my purpose and my mission, is to inspire other people that they are able to be free to live the life that they want to live. That they don't have to be stuck in the city, they don't have to be enslaved to a job, they don't have to be enslaved to their friends or their family or whatever it is that is holding them back from living their purpose and living their dream. I want to be a living embodiment and a living example of that, especially for the youth, as I am a baby myself. I was somehow able to escape from a very young age, and I want to inspire, especially young women, that they can do it too. And being with the Arhuacos, it gives hope. It gives hope that there is another way to live. And we don't have to be enslaved to our systems that we are all put into when we're born. And that's what drives me.
Can I just correct one word? I don't think you escaped. I think you made a choice. I think your choice, which is the most important thing provide the youth is make a choice. Then it'll be your life and your choice. So I don't think you escaped at all. I think you led one foot after the other. And yeah, things happened, but you made a choice. And this is what inspires me from both of you, is the choices you made. And it's such a wonderful, I'm so thankful to both of you for coming and adding your spirit to our little humble place. And I guess you have something else to say?
I have one more thing to say. The work that we're doing, it not only gives, I don't want to only give other people hope from our systems. I want to give hope to the indigenous tribes who have been being enslaved since colonization came into existence, as these are the tribes that were first contacted by Christopher Columbus when the troops landed on the beach. It really enhances this story and the profoundity of it. So, Sun Nation is working as a beacon of hope for everyone.
Aho. Aho. Equally, same inspiration that I'd like to share is the purpose of Sun Nation and what drives myself now as a being. I want that personal embodiment. I want to become the living document. I want to be nature. I want to have all of that fun aspect of life so that I can enjoy it. But I've gotten to a point now where I realize that it's impossible to live that life by yourself. And I've gotten connected enough now where there's this internal beacon that I have solutions. I've lived the solutions. I've learned the solutions. The solutions exist. So many other people have solutions, and I want to spend my time putting those solutions into action so that they exist, so that there's a pathway for others to follow their dreams, to enlighten themselves, and to have support along with the guides and ancestral knowledge that we've built bridges and access to. Their highest hope is to bridge that to others as well. So what drives me most is Sun Nation's mission in allowing that fulfillment to happen, in allowing that expansion to happen, and inviting everybody else onto that, giving them the tools and services that they need to start living affordably, to have food sovereignty, to have changed systems and parallel alignments that allow the people who want it to have it, and the access and the hope for all of that.
Well, you said an operative word. Love is just a word until it's put into action through grace, through kindness. And just remember that courage sits on the cushion of vulnerability. And open yourself up to each other. Because remember, the taste of the apple is not in the apple, nor is it in the eater of the apple. It is in the contact of the two. So make contact through the past, through the future, and through the present time, and converge it all. Thank you for joining us. I'm so appreciative. Yes. All right. Gracias. Thank you for joining us. I don't know. Before we go. Oh, yeah.
All right, everybody who wanted the group photo, if anybody's out there, all the way in the rabbit hole, group photo time. Maybe Goodwill if you want to spread the message. Great job. He's perfect for that. Group photo. Thank you, everybody who decided to stay.
Pero sigamos, vamos a tener una reunión.
Okay, stop. And